Yeah, Friday! Welcome to the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If the podcast app you're listening on allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star or 5-star rating. Any rating is greatly appreciated. Here we are, episode 70. It is Christmas Eve, and I'm wondering, are you guys ready for one of the final rounds of the holiday fight? Let's not hold anything back. Let's get into this. Journey updates. Good week this week, guys. I am down 1.6 pounds for this week. For the month of December, so far, I am down 0.8 pounds. And total, since January 2019, I am down 139 pounds. Pounds remaining to get to milestone 150. 11 pounds to go. The pounds remaining to get to milestone 175. 36 pounds to go. And the pounds remaining to get to milestone 200. 61 pounds. We are gearing toward the end of the year here. It's looking good for a good year for weight loss, for me at least. I want to talk a little bit today. It's going to be a mindset-based episode. Because in the previous episode, if you were listening to 69, I mentioned that the mind is a very powerful thing. If you notice, the beginning of the podcast is a little bit different. It's because if it's true, what I'm saying, that the mind is a powerful thing, then we should speak into the world what we want, even if it's not happening, because eventually something has to correct itself so it can become exactly what we expect it to be. It may not be in the time frame we expect it to be in, but that's up to us to just keep putting in the work and not quitting no matter the cost. When I was thinking about last week, so when I was doing preparing my episode for 69, I was listing for you guys all of my barriers. So now, while I was doing that, it forced me to think of my goals. As I thought about my goals and I'm writing down the barriers, I'm realizing none of this can happen. I mean, all these goals are basically bullshit until I really take care of the barriers. Now, if the majority of my barriers are mental, then we need to work on it. We need to get things going in the proper direction toward our goals. We can't keep doing things the way we understand to do them and just expect, okay, this time it will work. There are so many things we do wrong that we overlook because we don't see them as important to what we're doing. I would say that people don't put enough value into the mindset when it comes to pursuing a healthy lifestyle. There are many people out there that still believe that their willpower is enough. And if it wasn't for them quitting, they would not be in this position. What they fail to realize is their willpower wasn't enough, which is why they failed in the first place. But failure is not the end. Failure is not the end of the journey. Failure is just the next lesson. Because I've told you this before, failure is the teacher that enables you to reach success. If you want to invite success into your life, success brings her brother, failure. And failure is the teacher that gets you to success. So the key to achieving success is embracing the lessons that failure teaches you not ignore them. Every failure that you encounter is a lesson that you need to learn to get to your next level of your journey. And this doesn't just apply to weight loss. This applies to anything that you're trying to do in life. If you're trying to be a better salesman, if you're trying to own your own business and all these things, whatever you're trying to do, all of them are goal-oriented things that I'm mentioning here. So if you're trying to do things and you keep failing, it's not about you failed because you quit. You failed because that's the next lesson to learn in whatever it is you're trying to do. Everybody looks at failure like it's some terrible thing. Really, what failure is the fire that you have to go through to get to where you want to be. Because what do we really want? Let's think about this for a second. If you just close your eyes, if you can, close your eyes and think about this for a second. What do you really want? If I could snap my fingers right now, what do you want? You want to be healthy? You want to be off medication if you're on it? You want to be able to do things that you can't do right now? You want to be able to wear clothes that you can't wear right now? You want to feel good about yourself? All of these things are achievable, but failure is the key to getting there. Failure is the lessons you need to learn so that when you finally do get there, when you finally get to the end, you stay there. Even people that have reached the end, so many of them end up right back in it with us who are still fighting to get to the end because they didn't learn all of the lessons they needed to learn. They got to the end and went crazy, or got to the end and just relaxed. They totally missed the point. The whole point is that you learned all of these lessons to get to the end. What do you think? You're going to just keep it? Obviously not. Things have to be done a certain way to make sure you keep it. And if you were paying attention, you learned all of those lessons during the process. So that when you get to the end and you're facing the holidays, or you're facing a wedding, or you're facing a baby shower, whatever the case may be, a night out with friends, you're not going crazy because you don't have to track anymore. You just know how to live life, and tracking is part of it. And it doesn't matter that you chose the greasy cheeseburger, fried French fries, because it's one night, it's one meal. And you're tracking that meal, and you're going to be proud of it because this is all part of your life. Nobody's going to give up this stuff for the rest of their lives. It's about finding the balance between what's bad and what's good. And obviously the good has to outweigh the bad in order for you to do what you want to do. You don't get to the end if the bad outweighs the good. You never get there. So failure teaches us how to reach success, and if we're paying attention to the lessons learned, we stay there. And that's the real goal, staying there. Reaching the end and staying there. For some people, they want to reach the end and then go after something else. That's great too. As I was going through this and looking at my goals, it made me think of something. It made me think how often I say I can't. And there's so many things I've already succeeded at in my journey that I'm to the point where if I hear someone else say I can't, it bothers me in regards to the journey. But here we go. Now there's a number of aspects of my life now. There's the journey itself. That's creating the story. So the journey creates my story. And the podcast, and now a future live broadcast, will tell the story in a way that everybody can relate to, in a way that can keep everybody motivated, focused, determined to do what it is we're all trying to do here. My I can'ts ended in January 2019. Slowly but surely, they started to end. Starting with the simplest ones like, I can't afford that. These words, I can't, only ensure that whatever you say after that definitely doesn't happen. It is your acceptance of what you don't want to work for. I can't because I can't walk because I can't exercise because I can't walk because I don't have the time. I can't exercise because, oh, my knee hurts. I can't join Weight Watchers because I can't afford it. Whatever comes after I can't, that's what you're accepting. And that's what you tell people. And you think they accept it. If they say, okay, then they're just appeasing you. Or maybe they actually believe you. I don't know. But if you're saying that to me, I don't. But there's still even sections of my life where I say I can't. And it's because I'm paying the stupid tax. I don't know if you ever heard of Dave Ramsey. He's a financial guy. I listen to a lot of financial people because how they motivate people to make money can easily be applied to fitness. And he says, whenever you're trying to do something and you don't know how to do it, you're going to pay the stupid tax for a while. And that's kind of what I'm in right now. I'm paying the stupid tax while trying to introduce the live broadcast and keep it all going. And I'm trying to keep the live broadcast as a separate special thing from the podcast. Because if both of them end up being the same thing, what's the point? What's the point of being able to see me on screen if I'm saying the exact same thing I would have been able to say while you're doing your exercise, while you're walking? Why do you need to see my mug on camera? So something has to be different about the live broadcast. I kept saying, I can't when it came to the software involved, when it came to the equipment needed, all of the things necessary to run the live broadcast. All I did was say I can't. And it can't be that way anymore. I won't accept it anymore. I've gotten kind of the crash course of what it is to have a green screen behind me, what it is to make sure you have the proper lighting so that the green screen works when you're trying to use the software necessary to go live. I'm in this crash course. And you know what? It's not as easy as it looks. That's for sure. That's for sure. Especially someone like me who is striving for perfection at all costs. Even though I may never achieve perfection, I always aim for it. I even gave up wanting to share information that I found because I always said I can't read aloud. I mean, think about it on your sense. If I just start saying stuff, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, run for 30 minutes. How many of those things did you say I can't to in your head? So what's the shift? What's the mind shift? We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It is Christmas Eve, and we are going to keep the special musical break going. Here we go. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to all from the Ranting Weight Watcher and family. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. So, I'm bringing up the topic of our mindset and what we say with our mouth and how it affects everything we do. It's not just a weight loss journey thing. This is a life thing. And really, we do it so nonchalantly, we have no idea how we are affecting events that are still to come. Because our current mindset is giving birth to future outcomes. So if our current mindset is one that says, I can't regularly because it sounds good, then your future outcomes cannot be expected to be anything but failure. What is most important for us to do is, in the process of changing everything here, we need to start thinking differently and speaking differently. Because how we speak, what we speak, will dictate how we move forward. Someone who sees something in a store and says, oh, I can't afford that, you can bet your money that whatever it is he's talking about, he's right. He can't afford it. And as long as he keeps saying, I can't afford it, he'll make sure he can never afford it. It is a mindset thing. Instead, the most successful people in the world, instead of saying, I can't afford it, they're saying, how can I afford it? In other words, what would they need to do to be able to afford it? And the same can be applied in anything we're trying to do here. I can't exercise because I don't have time. Instead, where can I make time to exercise? I can't do 100 push-ups. How many push-ups can I do? And how can I get to 100? It's these small adjustments that are essential to anything we're trying to succeed in. If you go into something with a negative attitude, not only are you going to come out with a negative attitude, you're going to come out with a negative result. No one went into anything with a negative attitude and came out with a positive result. You know, I went through, let me think here. I went through the overwhelming majority of my life having never finished a book. Some people know this about me. Most people don't. I skated through school by barely doing the minimum. I never finished a book in all of my academic years of school. Even when back in, elementary school, when you used to have book reports, I did the minimum necessary to make you think I read the book. Now, why? I used to waste my time saying I can't. I don't have the attention span to read a book. Everything distracts me from reading the book. I can't. And it wasn't until after I got married, it was one Sunday, some random Sunday. We're sitting in the living room. It's football Sunday. I have the remote. I'm sitting in my favorite chair, and I just spent almost 8 hours watching football. If not exactly 8 hours, almost 8 hours watching football. My wife, sitting on the couch, spent the entire same 8 hours and from start to finish, finished an entire novel while I watched football. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind that she was able to finish to have the attention span to finish a book in one day, let alone, the fact that she finished the book is one thing. The fact that she finished it in 8 hours while I watched football and wasted time was a completely other thing. And all I could think of was, wow, what a waste of time. I sat here and watched football all day, and she read a book. And I started to think, how can I do this? How can I really read a book? And one day I had the crazy idea. I happened to be in one of those, Barnes and Noble type bookstores, but it was in Connecticut. I don't know if Borders bookstore was a store everywhere. I don't know if that was a national chain or if that was just like a Connecticut store. I know Barnes and Noble's everywhere, but I don't know about Borders bookshop. But they had it was like a Barnes and Noble type store called Borders. And we were walking through there. I was there for my wife. She was looking for something. This was the week that the final book of the Harry Potter series was released. And it was on display, like when you first walk in the store. Book 7 of the Harry Potter series just released, and it was like a big display. I happened to pass by and I was looking at it. And I hadn't read a single one of the books. I barely even saw the movies at this time. I had seen them in passing because other people were watching the movies. I have not sat down and watched from beginning to end. And I saw that the hardcover of book 1 was reduced. It was like, I don't know, $7, whatever it was. So now I had in my head that my wife had spent that weekend or whatever. I don't know. It may have been 1 or 2 weeks later, or it may have been the next weekend. I can't remember exactly. But I had it in my head that she finished that whole book in the 8 hours she sat there. And I wanted to figure out a way that I could read a book. I was determined. I purchased the book, being reduced or whatever, went home with it, and was thinking, how can I make it so I can't be distracted from reading this book? I went online and I downloaded the audiobook. I put the audiobook on my iPod, put the earphones in my ears. I'm following along in the book. The guy's reading it to me. I'm following along. It was the perfect way to shut out noise. So as long as I kept my eyes on the words, I was going to be all right. And even that proved to be difficult, to keep your eyes on the words, because the reader keeps reading and you could take your eyes off the words and then all of a sudden you lost the place and you're trying to find where he is. But I made it through. I finished the first book of Harry Potter by listening and reading at the same time. I remember feeling so accomplished because it was the first time in my life that I ever actually finished a book. The very first time. Now, fast forward to now. I've been using the same method to read a number of books. I finished the Harry Potter series, went on to Lord of the Rings, and numerous other books that I like in that genre, which is fantasy novels, wizards, witches, stuff like that. I enjoy those kind of novels. Now here I sit. The last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 episodes, I had been really struggling for topics. Really, really struggling for topics to talk to you guys about. Because I want to keep it fresh. I don't want to keep going over the same stuff. Yes, this is about my journey. I get that. It's about my struggles too, and my triumphs. But what good is it all if I'm not also talking about stuff we can learn from? Not necessarily like I'm going to be teaching it, but if I read something, it could easily become a topic like, oh, I want to apply this to my life. The subject of nutrition in general is endless. I'm sure the nutrition section of any Borders books or Barnes & Noble bookstore is immense. And there's plenty of information to be had there. And here I am winging it when I think of a topic that would require me to do a little internet research. Even then, I'm doing quick just for that topic, just for that episode. I'm not trying to educate myself. I'm just trying to find answers to, I don't know, some questions I have. Oh, FYI, fun fact, some quick information. And then I see people like Warren Buffett. I'm always mixing him up with Jimmy Buffett. But Warren Buffett is the one I'm talking about. This man is worth billions of dollars. One of the richest men in the world. He spends 6 hours a day reading books. Now, am I going to tell you that I'm going to sit here for 6 hours a day reading a book? Right now, I'm just aiming for 30 minutes. But I need to do this. In order to give you guys a podcast to be proud of, a live show to be proud of, I have to be educated in what I am passionate about. And maybe what I know and what I experienced got me to this point, but it's not enough to keep going. I have to know more. I have to seek more. No information is going to find me. I have to do it for myself. And so, like everything in consistency in my life, I have to apply it to reading. And I'm planning on attacking 3 subjects. 1, nutrition. 2, mindset. 3, motivational speaking. And 4, the Bible. I don't want to do all this reading and have none of it be the Bible. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Frosted window panes, candles gleaming inside, painted candy canes on the tree. Santa's on his way, He's filled his sleigh with things for you and for me. It's that time of year when the world falls in love. Every song you hear seems to say Merry Christmas. May your New Year dreams come true. And this song of mine in 3/4 time wishes you and yours the same thing too. A very Merry Christmas from the Ranting Weight Watcher and family. Enjoy yourselves. I love each and every one of you. God bless. It's that time of year when the world falls in love. Every song you hear seems to say Merry Christmas. May your New Year dreams come true. And this song of mine in 3/4 time wishes you and yours the same thing too. Merry Christmas. And we are back. Thanks for sticking with me. I think that if I truly want what I say I want for the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast to be the #1 weight loss podcast in the world, that I have to do things to make it. I can't keep winging it. I have to put my effort into whatever it would take. And if that ends up reading for hours at a time on a certain subject to educate myself on it so I can kind of talk about it or maybe even implement it in my journey, then fine. But it starts with a small goal. A small goal of reading 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. There are so many things we all say I can't about. And just as much as when we wrote our barriers, if none of those barriers are something you say I can't about, then maybe it has to be added to the barriers. Maybe it has to be something that is brought up with the idea that it has to be implemented at the same time. Because thinking positively is part of the whole thing, but not just thinking it, actually believing it. Speaking in ways that put positivity in your life instead of negativity into your life are essential to get to wherever it is you want to be, wherever it is I want to be. Because I want to be at a point where I can do this and be able to do what I'm passionate about for the first time in my life. And not only do it, and being able to support myself doing what I'm passionate about. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers and successful businessmen give speeches. And the one thing they say is, if you're passionate about what you do, or you'll never work a day in your life, or do what you're passionate about, you'll never feel like you're working. Something to that effect. No matter how much time I put into this, whether it's editing, whether it's searching endlessly for the right music, I'm always thinking about that. Always thinking about how much I love doing this. And how one day I want this to be the one thing that supports my whole family. It would be wonderful. Those sound like pipe dreams to you, but I'm not going to call them pipe dreams anymore. Because if I'm calling them pipe dreams, then I'm guaranteed that they're pipe dreams. If I just do all of the work that I plan to do and skip the idea of saying it's a pipe dream, who knows what can happen? If I start saying and declaring that this will be the number one weight loss podcast in the world, who knows what the possibilities are? If it never achieves that, it won't be because I didn't give the effort. What I want you to take most from this episode is, I want you to really analyze yourself and realize, as you speak the words that you speak, how many of them would be on a negative connotation toward yourself? How many times would you speak negatively of yourself about anything? I mean, but in this case, especially the journey. How many times would you easily speak critically of yourself rather than constructively? And how many times are the words you're using only dictating further negative results in the future? I think you'd be surprised if you really started to pay attention to the words you say. And if you took my word for it and said everything you thought or said about yourself in regards to any subject, if that was going to be gospel, if that was going to become exactly what happens to you, I think you would watch what you say a lot more. And I think going forward, we really have to take this into how we approach our journey. Really open up the possibilities of what really is out there for us. Now, for the end of the show today, I have something very special. Now, you're not going to believe this probably, but I wrote this poem at least 12 years ago. At least 12 years ago. It is 2021 and I got married in 2007. So somewhere between 2007 and 2012, when I moved to Florida, I wrote this poem. And when you hear it, it's almost as if I wrote it today. And this is how I'd like to end today's podcast. This holiday season comes at an uncertain time, as unemployment is on a steady climb. The news speaks of nothing but death, war, and crime. You ask yourself if it's really Christmas time. Fear and worry can contaminate the heart, while stress and anger should be stopped at the start. It causes marriages to end and tears families apart. The the answer is there. You'll find it if you're smart. Sickness and disease are on the rise, forcing families to say their final goodbyes. While our leaders stand before us and tell us nothing but lies. By your side sits the answer, your most faithful ally. My wish for you this holiday season is for you to remember it's one true reason. Don't get lost in the trials that life can bring. Take a moment to commemorate the birth of our King. Commercialism has clouded the beauty of this day. Look to heaven for guidance and you'll find your way. Don't worry about the headlines you see on CNN. Shout glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Merry Christmas. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.